is germane to our electoral process. Every time towards election period, you will see that civil society, media, political party will be talking towards need for us to have new electoral act. And if you look at the provisions in the electoral act, you see that we are duplicating or some are overlapping. So, and what we change mostly is the date. Do we really learn lesson from the past electoral act that now lead us to having new electoral act? Because if you look at the electoral act for 2023 that we used for 2023 election, that's electoral act 2022 that was repealed recently. The new things there, I don't see it as unique, because especially from the perspective of timing as well too. So I want you to speak to your role as media practitioner and look at the nexus between your role and the legal framework, the Electoral Act 2026.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, let me begin by appreciating the organizers of this engagement. And no doubt, media is an indispensable partner towards making sure that we have a very credible and successful election in our country. Having said that, let me equally use this opportunity to say that we are a strong ally and partners. You talk about the quarterly meeting with the INEC, which we also attend. I represent the Nigerian journalists in that meeting, and I speak on behalf of the journalists in the country. Journalism profession is one profession that is saddled with responsibilities of enlightening, educating, as well as sensitizing people. It is also one profession that is clearly stated in the constitutions of this country that it was saddled with duties of holding government accountable. By doing that, I think it is key and critical for all of us to know that for us to have a very credible election in this country, we need to have what we call a voter education exercise, which we carried as a journalist or as a media organizations. Most of the media organizations dedicate their time freely towards making sure that they sensitize as well as educate Nigerians to participate fully in the credible elections and before, during, and even after the elections. And above all, journalists also are also one critical pillar that has a lot of issues when it comes to covering elections. For personally, for me, and I believe I will talk for the CP that is sitting here. I forgot the last time I exercised my right as a journalist to vote for any candidate in this country since 1999, because during the elections days I have to be on air, sensitizing, educating, as well as moving from one local government to another in my state. Then I was in at the subnational level. Coming back to your questions, I think the most important thing for us to do is for us to be patriotic as citizens. Becoming patriotic is going to change all the narratives. If you cannot be patriotic, I doubt if any laws cannot work for this country. All the laws we have, there are laws that we believe that they are developed and agreed by all stakeholders so that it can be used towards making sure that we have a very credible election in this country. But at the end of the day, you see people will come up and identify one or two loopholes whereby people will come and challenge it and also certain things. But I think the most important thing for us in this country is for us to agree that we live with one another. Let's be patriotic. Let's be citizens who will believe that will come out and vote the candidate of our choice on the day of election. If you go to our neighboring countries or not far from Nigeria, you see who are being given the mandate of conducting elections are people who they don't even they can go to their houses with all the electoral ballot papers before the day of the election, and the following morning they will bring them from the house. In Nigeria, if INEC give you a ballot paper today, by tomorrow is something else. So I think being patriotic is serious things that for us to take into consideration. And at the same time, access to equal information. For instance, media play a critical role in that regard for us to give all political parties access to the media so that they can come and exercise their right, come and campaign, come and tell Nigerians what they can offer. But I think the most important thing is economic independence of these media organizations. Research has shown that most of the media organizations are tilting towards ownership by politicians. I have said it. This is an early warning sign for all of us. I think the most important thing is for us to change the narratives. Let's see people that have love and passion for this country, people that believe that they can be able to come and give meaningful contribution towards strengthening and taking our country to a greater height on the media organization. And above all, I think the most Other important thing we need to also consider is if you go to developed countries, you see how government, irrespective of the media organizations, they give bailout or support to the media organizations. I think the most important thing, there is need for government to also look into that so that they can support the media organizations. Yes, some people will say, if government give you money, no doubt you'll compromise. No, there's nothing like compromise. I think if you look at it, most of the media organizations, because of the dwindling in advert and the rest, no media organization can say that he's sustained and is strong in this country. Most of them, they are just battling towards making sure that they paid salaries, towards making sure they paid their bills, and so on and so on. I think the time is now. And at the same time, if you go to, for instance, a country like South Africa, if you look at the citizens in that country, they are the ones supporting the political parties. In Nigeria, it's not the same. I think the most important thing is for us to come up with program that can change the whole narrative so that everybody can be able to go far and near and see how he can end up giving his support to a candidate from south, east, or north, or anywhere, irrespective of religion, irrespective of ethnicity, and so on. And I think that the most important thing, media has a duty to do that. But the critical issues is we have in this country is anybody that has a smartphone today is a journalist. Everybody is trying to say that it break the news, breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. Until we change that narrative, I believe we have a duty to do that. But at the same time, we need to come up with policies and program. But for the conventional media, there are agencies that are saddled with responsibilities to make sure that whatever they are doing, they are being supervised by those agencies. For instance, NBC and the Press Council. These are the responsible government agencies that are saddled with responsibilities to supervise what media organizations they are doing. If media organization is tilting towards a political party, it is their responsibility to draw the attention to caution that media organization. I think the time is now for us to come together and see how we can be able to change that narrative. I will give an example with what I saw in Kano. The situation in Kano is, I'm sorry to say, is pathetic. If you open all the radio stations in the morning, you see how people are coming on air, abusing this one coming to counter abuse, this one is coming to defend his ally, this one is coming to accuse. I think let's come up with content that are going to change us, content that are going to be of development, content that are going to be of contributions towards preparing younger ones to be the leaders of tomorrow. Not that to be using those sojambaka or whatever they call them to come and be accusing people and say all rubbish. And I believe if people that I'm speaking for the North, sorry to tell you this. For me, I am from Northeast, and I believe anything that came from North usually go across the northern states. So I think there is need for us to change that narrative so that we can be able to have a free airtime where people can come and develop their talent, where people can come and exercise their right, where people can come and also tell what they can offer, what value are they adding, why are they there. Until when we know our why, then we can be able to change the narrative and add value to the society. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that brilliant submission, linking the role of media towards having credible election, as well calling on relevant government agencies on need for them to deliver on their mandate. Because it's very key. You don't just create content because you want to fill the airtime. I think what matters is what you are pushing out. And I like the area you mentioned around uh, using your platform to interrogate or to serve as accountability mechanism, to interrogate manifestos. During the campaign, you can document some campaign promises. And after the election, you start engaging. At a time, I was implementing a project on election, and we call that activity, we call it Buhari meter. The essence of Buhari meter then was to measure the implementation of Buhari administration to their campaign promises. So at a point, it generated an issue, and the party denied some campaign promises and said, no, it was Mr. Buhari that said that, not the political parties. So it's not APC campaign promises. And we've started seeing